I really need to shave, clearly, because all the hamburger is in my face, in my beard. Shit. Oh crap. I can't eat. It's an ugly planet. A bug planet. Did you get my Starship Troopers reference?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we are sitting here outside. I hope that you can hear me. We don't have any microphone. This is very low budget. I just ate a burger and some fries from Max, which is the best Swedish burger place in my opinion.
But you complain a lot about it when you eat it.
Now, today, yes, because if you can see... Oh, apparently they're building a house next to me. Anyway, you see, I have all this beard in my face. I haven't shaved in a very long time, so when I eat a burger, it just gets stuck in the beard, and it's very annoying. And it feels like kind of like, even though I wipe, it's something still there, like something sticky, you know, and it's just very uncomfortable in my face. So I complained a little bit about that, that's true. But I love the taste of this veggie meat. The meat is made of vegetables. Anyway, so how this is supposed to be a vlog. Maybe you can ask me some question. Martin is filming me.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, what's up? What's up with your writing? Are you getting anywhere?
Okay, so I think I'm getting somewhere, but the thing is, I just bought an apartment, and it took me a long time to find which apartment to buy, and it was like a full-time job to go looking at apartments, and it also had an impact on my motivation, so it made me write less for that reason as well, but it also took a lot of my time. Aside from my work, I had to look for apartment and go and look at apartment after work. I couldn't really write as much as I would have wanted, but now I have bought the apartment. It is just like 3 days ago, the apartment, I got lost furniture from IKEA and I put them together, so now it feels kind of cozy in there actually, and I can start focusing on my writings 100%. Well, it's not 100% because I have a full-time job, but 100% when I'm not at work.
Well, 100% of the time that you can focus on your writing, you will.
I will.
Use.
But
That's a tautology almost. But
is it a tautology? Because like I could. No, that's not a tautology. I could like play computer games.
No, but then you can't focus on your writing if you would play.
So like in a deterministic
yes,
sense?
exactly.
Like it couldn't happen differently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. We can play that game. But what I'm trying to say is that I can now write much more than before.
Yeah.
Than the last couple of weeks, and I have already set up a good routine. And the routine is basically that I write from 6 in the morning until 7 in the morning, and that's 1 hour, and at that hour I write short stories, okay? And then I want to read for 1 hour, and after that I will get to work.
Real work, like?
Yeah, the work that pays my bills.
Okay.
And I do that for 8 hours, but of course I have lunch, which is a time when I can do something else.
Yeah, and then you write. Do you write at your novel? Anything?
Yeah, so let's fast forward until after work. I don't really. I can work from home however much I want, not just because of the pandemic, but because the job doesn't demand that I am in any specific location, so I can work wherever I want. And if I am at home already, I will just start writing after work, or I go home and I start writing, and then I write on my novel. So the hour after work is for the novel. according to my routines, which I honestly haven't started to live by yet, but I will start with that tomorrow if I can. This is a plan which may or may not succeed, but probably it will succeed because I have had these kind of routines before. But I will then write on the novel. In this case, I'm actually editing the novel that I have been writing. And so the thing is that I put my novel, I let a few people from Reddit read my novel and comment on it. And a lot of the people was enthusiastic, but I think like 3 people out of 20 actually opened the document. And I didn't get that many comments, but I'm going through the few comments I got, and I'm very grateful for those comments. And also I'm grateful for the people who showed enthusiasm, although they didn't read it. But you know, life happens, and I can't really expect people to read my freaking novel that they don't really know anything about. So I'm very happy that at least a few people read it and commented on it, and I'm going through those comments now. And when I've done that, which I will send the entire manuscript to a professional editor. And while it is being edited, I will start writing on my other novel.
And the first novel is the Neanderthal story, right?
Yes, the first novel is actually the working title is Dura, or however you want to say it in English. I don't know how the Neanderthals pronounce this really. It's like Dura. I don't know, but it's named after the female character in that story, and that book is basically done. It's 2 parts, and I just need it edited, and then I will publish it on everywhere. I will self-publish it because it's too short to be published by a traditional publisher. They usually prefer longer books because, according to them, people tend to buy. The price will be the same even if it's short. So people tend to buy thicker books for the same price as a.
And then don't read
book.
them. Then just leave them in the bookshelves and don't read them.
True. I mean,
That's
I think
often
like
the case.
90% of people who buy books don't actually read them. 90%. I don't know if that's correct, but it's a big percent of people buying books don't read them in the end. And a lot of them give them away as gifts, and obviously you don't read the books you get from people as gifts, right? I'm not alone in that regard. I don't think it's rarely that people like know what I want to read. Anyway, I'm still grateful because they got me something. But so I write I edit, and then I will start using this hour to write the second novel, which is about this other story, which I also published on Reddit, the story of the lost city of Corona. Unfortunate name there, as we talked about before, but I'm thinking I should rename the city to Utgård. Okay, you can say it as Outgard in English, I guess. It's from the northern mythology. It's a kind of place outside of the realms of man, I think. I'm not an expert on this mythology, but I read up on it, and it kind of fits the idea of a city displaced in another realm, so to speak. And so it's also a Swedish name, and this is a Swedish city, and it is a Swedish. And as far as I know, there aren't any cities named after that, but it certainly could be cities with that name in Sweden. So it kind of fits the location as well, right? Mm-hmm. So both the names, the meaning of the name, and the origin of the name fits well with the story, right? So I think that's an interesting idea. I might change it later, who knows? But that's what I'm working with now.
You don't think Corona is a good name anymore?
No, Corona, for several reasons, Corona isn't a good name, actually. It's not just a pandemic. It's also that there is already a city named Corona in, like, the US somewhere. I don't remember if it's, like, down in Texas or where it was. Sorry about that. My geography knowledge is limited. But there is already a city named Corona. And it's also kind of similar to the city of Kiruna in Sweden. So it kind of like sounds like I messed up and didn't know the difference between the, like I was trying to say Kiruna, like that's ridiculous. But I have had some comments. You mean Kiruna? And it's like, no, I know what Kiruna is, but the names are too similar, right? And also, there's a beer named Corona. Apparently, I don't drink alcohol.
Oh, you didn't know that before?
I have heard of it, but I wasn't really connecting it. You know, I wasn't like immediately going there in my mind. But I have since seen all the comments to this short story, and many people have joked about the beer, and so it's this name is too used already. Clearly, I have actually written like 10,000 words already. So I wanted to be like a big book, 100,000 words or something like that. But I don't know if I can manage to get it that long because I'm a very economic writer. I don't like purple prose. I'm more like Hemingway rather than Proust, so to speak. But I mean, not as good as any of those. But I'm inclined to the same kind of style as the kind of short descriptions and not too many elaborations on environment and so on. I like to let the reader paint their own pictures. For example, I can't stand when writers describe faces like super detailed. It's like I'm just imagining a caricature in my head. Like he has a long nose with like cheekbones. I'm just seeing something absurd when you describe it that much detail. If you just say it was a round face, you know, then I will imagine a bit overweight person maybe. I can create a face in my mind without any details described. It's just weird to put those details together in. So I don't like to write like that, and so it's difficult for me to get it to be super long, I guess. But I don't know. Maybe I will end up with a lot of plot, and that I can actually flesh out the book with, and we will see. But right now, it's like it's very difficult to say where it will go. Actually, I'm not usually the kind of writer who just writes. I usually plan my stuff. You know, I'm not like Stephen King, who seems to just write whatever he feels like and then try to kind of desperately tie it all together at the end. I want to know beforehand how it will end, and I don't really know that about the second novel. I don't really know. I know how it ends because it's going to be the short story but in a longer format, but I don't know how I will get to the end in a good way, and it's just a lot of unknowns still, even though I have had a lot of time to think about this. But I'm getting there. I have made it much more realistic. I have dropped the idea of a nuclear power plant, which I was, in the short story, they build a nuclear power plant, and that's not realistic. So instead, they're going to build are we getting into spoiler territory here? Not really spoilers. I mean, if you have read the short story, you will already be spoiled, I guess, to a certain degree. But this is just kind of the beginning. Okay. So it's not that much spoiler. But obviously, the premise is that this entire city is transported to a parallel universe where they have to survive, right? And before, in the short story, I came up with the idea that they build a nuclear power plant, and that is very unrealistic because they have to have like an entire civilization to build a nuclear power plant, basically, if they don't already have the materials. So instead, I have come up with the idea that in the original universe, they have a dam on the Kalix River in the northern Sweden, right, next to the Bothnian Bay, which is like the coast, I guess. Okay, so there isn't any dam there in reality because it's deemed like a natural reserve. You aren't allowed to build dams on the Kalix River. But since this is fiction, and since there is a little spoilery thing that I won't talk about, there is actually a little bit of an excuse why there is a power plant, a water power plant, hydro. How do you say it even in English? Something like that. Yeah. So it's water powered, and this is also transferred to the other universe. So they have a dam that they just have to repair to get the electricity going. They just need. I think they will need to connect the part of the river from our world with another river, and then the dam will work. So they get the water flowing again in the river. So that's the idea I have right now, and I have lowered the population of the city. First it was like 2 million. It's a bit unrealistic, so I have put it down to 300,000. And I think a good comparison is Murmansk in Russia. I think it has the same amount of population, and it's also in the middle of nowhere in the north, right? So it's a good comparison, and that is basically what I will start writing as soon as I have finished the story about the world where Homo sapiens never evolved. That's
and when do you plan on getting done with that first book, the Neanderthal story?
Well, I just need it to be edited by a professional.
Yeah, I know.
And
but you said that. But about which? I don't know. Give us an estimate.
Okay, so I think maybe 3 months.
Okay, beginning of summer.
Yeah, but it costs a bit to have an editor, go through it. To hire an editor costs quite a lot of money, and I want to save up a little bit to have a buffer, as they say, because I just bought an apartment and I need to have some money left, so to speak.
Yeah.
So we will see, but I will try to do it as quick as possible. If you want to support me, you can always become a Patreon supporter and donate some of your money to help me in my writing. As always something I would appreciate and be eternally grateful for. And hopefully it will be done soon, and I can start writing. I can start writing the second novel. Not that far into the future, because I just need to do the last little edits, and then I can start writing the new novel until I can send that one away to an editor. Mm-hmm. So starting writing that can be done much quicker than that.
Cool.
Maybe I should say something about which short stories I'm writing, because I have a list of ideas of short stories, and this is what I write in the morning, basically. And the short story I'm writing right now is a story about 2 teenage girls. Yeah, they are teenagers. One is in love with the other, because I like to have characters that has tension between them. And then they decide to skip school to go to a new mall in their town. And this story is inspired by something called liminal space. I don't know if you might have heard of something called the back rooms, for example, which is pictures of strangely empty rooms, which feels creepy for some reason, and also a little bit nostalgic. And this is a very interesting concept. I urge you to Google it, like back rooms or liminal space, because those are very fascinating pictures, and there are stories surrounding these pictures. And so I am kind of inspired by that, and they will they will end up in such a space where, like, the mall is completely mysteriously empty, and there is some kind of presence or some kind of creature stalking them or something like that. So that is the short story I'm writing right now. And then I guess that's what's going on now when it comes to my writing. I have this routine. I have the second book coming out, and I am trying to put out more short stories.
Yeah, a lot of things to look forward to, it seems. Sure. Just stay tuned, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and press the bell button if you want to get notifications when I publish new videos, which I will do more often than before. I will actually do it. I will actually try to record a vlog each Sunday, but by myself. Yeah. by myself at home. So this is like a very spontaneous thing. Okay, don't forget to like or dislike. I think the YouTube algorithm doesn't really care. Just be honest with yourself and press whatever button feels more alluring to you. Okay, have a nice evening. Maybe it's in the morning. Have a nice good morning. Don't know.